Welcome and thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Rachel.
So tell us a little bit about what the council is up to. You recently, just a few years ago, had a name change from GSRI to Girl Scouts of Southeastern New England.
Right, yes. So we cover all of Rhode Island. We cover Pawcatuck, Connecticut, and about 13 communities in southeastern Massachusetts. So that's all gone very, very well. We have 4 camps within that jurisdiction, and those are all actively running right now, and kids are having an absolutely amazing time at our camps, doing all the things that they love, the swimming and the boating. There's a new kind of, it's not a kayak, but it's called a corkle. So the girls
never
are
heard
having
of that.
a great time on these corkles, and of course the high ropes course is always a huge adventure piece, as well as archery, etc. But they're having a great summer.
It absolutely is. It's a great time. I went to Girl Scout camp when I was younger. Have some
too.
very fond memories. And so, what are the camps we have here in Rhode Island? And we have Hoffman and Green Forest together down in South Kingston. We have Rocky Point in Newport.
Rocky Farm in Newport.
Yes.
Yes.
And
Promising Acres in Massachusetts, and Camp Cookie, which is up in the northwestern section. And that one now sports 3 yurts where girls can stay, thanks to the Champlain Foundation and their generosity to help us build those. It's the first time they had funded yurts. So we're very excited about that, and girls are enjoying those as well.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
And the exciting thing is that one of those camps, Camp Hoffman, which is down near URI, we're going to be celebrating the 100th anniversary of that camp in 2021.
Wow, congratulations to you
We're
guys and to
very
Camp
excited.
Hoffman.
We think it's the 3rd oldest Girl Scout camp in the entire country.
Wow, that's very impressive.
And I just met with a group of women who are in their 80s, 90s, even 100, who used to go to Camp Hoffman. So they're very excited too about having their gathering, their annual gathering at Camp Hoffman. We are looking for anyone who is an alum of Hoffman. And as George Schuster, our board chair, says, you know, you can just step foot on Hoffman and become an alum, because he wants to really welcome everyone. It's a beautiful camp, about 170 acres, and it's great.
It is. Yeah. It's a beautiful area, and that's so exciting. So what's planned for? Do you have the celebration planned yet, or are we still figuring out?
It's still a little bit out, but we are going to be doing things probably every month of that 2021 year. So what's happening before that, though, is the centennial of our Girl Scout Council. So Girl Scouts of the USA celebrated the centennial back in 2012. But in terms of Girl Scouting here in the Rhode Island area, we will turn 100 in 2019, this coming year.
So that's coming up very soon.
Very excited about that. So we will have one big event. The date is yet to be determined. But for sure, on the actual centennial, which is December of 2019, we will probably have a ceremony that will be happening throughout our jurisdiction, but done within smaller groups, within troops and within our service areas. So stay tuned for more on that. But think about it, 100 years of Girl Scouting in this community where we have been focused on girls only. We are chartered to serve girls only. We're a girl-only organization, and we really believe strongly in that commitment to make sure that girls can develop in their own space where their own voice can be developed and heard.
So in that line, how today can Girl Scouts stay relevant? 100 years is a really long time, and of course you have to change your approach to make sure you're still serving the girls and keeping them interested. Right. So how do you guys innovate?
Oh my gosh, I think that's been one of our hallmarks. So I was just saying earlier to someone here that Juliette Gordon-Low, the founder of our movement, she was such a visionary. She was only around for 15 years of the organization's tenure before she passed. But in the very first Girl Scout troop, she made sure that there were girls of all diverse economic strata. She had disabilities. She had kids from orphanages, those in homes. She wanted to make sure that we were diverse from the beginning. To me, our relevance is so much tied to our diversity, because we really believe in serving all girls and exposing girls to people of all different, and in fact, I think, as many of our troop leaders have said, it's the only place where their girls can really be exposed to people of differences, because very often within their schools, they only go within their geographic area. And within our troops, it can be girls from so many different opportunities. So I think that's one way. The other part, of course, is the relevancy of our uniform. We've changed that so many times. Where it's not been a good thing that we've changed so much is the name of our highest award in Girl Scouting, which is now the Gold Award. It used to be called the Golden Eaglet, and then it was the Curved Bar, and it was first class. Now it's the Girl Scout Gold Award. And because of that change, though it became relevant in terms of the terminology, it has hurt us a bit because people don't recognize what girls go through to earn this highest award. Girls have to choose an issue that's really important to them. It can't just be about building a bridge or building something. They have to identify an issue that's important to them. And then they take that issue, they identify a project that has to be sustainable, Rachel. It can't just be one and done. It's got to be a sustainable project. And that what girls have done here locally has been absolutely amazing. We're making deep impact in our communities. So that's part of the relevancy. The other part are our badges. I mean, right now, there's a whole new launch of some badges through Girl Scouts USA. We have some in robotics. We have, I've got a whole list here of all of it. We have Think Like an Engineer is one of them. Think Like a Computer Programmer.
So you're encouraging girls to go into more STEM fields and...
Right. So we have really 5 program arenas. STEM is one of them, and that's the one that probably from a relevancy standpoint has really been promoted over the last 5-6 years. I had a girl who was 4 years old who was coming to one of our events with her sister, who I actually could learn coding from by watching her.
Wow,
Girls
that is
are
very
ready
impressive.
For that. We've got to stay relevant. All of our technology in terms of how we run our office and leaders being able to do their training online, if we didn't keep up with the technology piece, we would long be gone. That is a critical thing. So we've always been about, we call it by girls, for girls. So our program is based on what girls want. So a good troop leader is actively engaging with her girls and saying, what is it that you want to explore? I remember years ago, some girls, when HIV first was something that came out, and nobody knew much about it. Girls in a troop were very, very curious, and their troop leader didn't shy away from a controversial issue. She let the girls learn about it. They ended up doing a Silver Award project around making quilts for children that were at a home called the Ferrano Home. All of their moms were HIV positive, and they were born either HIV positive themselves or born to moms who would soon die. These girls wrapped their whole project around learning about an issue that most people didn't want to talk about. So we remain relevant because we're willing to take on the issues that are important to our girls. It's girl-led.
And going off that, talking a little bit about higher awards, I know when I went to do my Silver Award and my Gold Award when I was a Girl Scout, there weren't many others like me. The older you get, the less people there are. Like when you're a Brownie, there's 20, 25 girls, and there's no shortage of people. But the older you get, like the less cool it seems, and the less interested people are. Going a little off the last question, how do you appeal to older girls as well and encourage them to stay a part of the organization?
One of the best ways we can do it is by women like yourself who were Girl Scouts who are cool. Okay, I'm not sure people are going to look at me and say that I'm cool.
I think you're very cool.
Well, thank you. But there are many women that they need to claim their Girl Scouting. They need to write on their LinkedIn that you are. I bet it's not in your LinkedIn. But I hope it will be.
It is on my resume.
Okay, wonderful. That's a great first step. So now on LinkedIn, you want to say that you earned the highest award in Girl Scouting, the Gold Award, which is a very small percentage of girls ever earn that. So when women are willing to claim their leadership and claim their honors and their recognition and say, yes, I was a Girl Scout, even though when we were growing up it might not have been cool. I stayed in through high school. It wasn't cool then, but there was something about it that I got that I couldn't get anywhere else. And I had experiences I never would have had it not been for Girl Scouts. So girls stay because of the fun. They stay because they're having opportunities they would never have anywhere else. Those are probably the number 2 reasons. And they love to travel. They love opportunities to travel. So those program areas that I talked about, STEM is one of them. Life skills that covers everything from healthy eating and exercise to bullying, domestic violence, all the issues that girls need to be aware of. We have Entrepreneurism, because girls are starting their very first business with the cookie program. And I cannot tell you how many women will say that they got their start in business because of the cookie program. We have Global, and we took that on locally because we know that girls love to travel. And again, that diversity of connecting to people across our entire world. We are living in a global economy. We can't be afraid, and we need to embrace people of other cultures and get to know them. And then the last one, of course, is the Out of Doors, which is everything from camping to environmental education with all of these new eco badges that we now have. So yeah, we are definitely relevant and very proud to be part of this organization for myself since I was 9 years old, professionally since 1977, so yeah. I love it.
Very, very committed.
Yes, I am.
And so there was a little bit of controversy a few months ago with the Boy Scouts. They announced that they would be accepting Girl Scouts as well. And the message that seemed to come from it was Boy Scouts are letting Girl Scouts or letting girls do some of the things that maybe they didn't have the opportunity to in Girl Scouts. I know like there were more opportunities for outdoor things and more camping and different activities like that. And what was your reaction as a council and your rebuttal of no, you should stay in Girl Scouts instead?
Well, of course it's a girl choice, and we've always believed in that. We're teaching girls how to make decisions that are right for them. I believe that most girls are going to find that the right decision is to remain in the Girl Scouts. From in terms of the programming, the high adventure, the camping, we do all of that. There's not a single thing that boys do that the girls aren't doing. Now, some of it depends on the troop that girls are in. They have a tendency to go off in one direction more than another. Parents can look up on our website on what's called the Opportunity Catalog, where troop leaders actually put a description of their troop, because again, it's based on what the girls want. So in some troops, it's really heavy outdoors. Others, it's heavy travel. So it's not that they don't do a little of everything, but they tend to focus on one thing more than another. Whereas again, I can't speak for the Boy Scouts, but I think the camping piece is probably more prevalent throughout every single troop. We have many that camp, but not necessarily every single girl. So there's not a single thing that they can't do in the Girl Scout that they could do there. But more importantly, Rachel, I mean, we have had over 107 years now nationally of building programs that are really relevant and meant for girls. It's based on research on what girls want and what they need. It's a place where they can really have their voice, and they're still in society. I can tell you right now, if I didn't feel there was a need for an all-girl organization based on the needs of girls only, I would be the first to say, you know, we could go away. That is just simply not the case. I mean, I know there are some very, very strong girls and women out there, so who maybe don't feel like they need to find a voice. They've already found their voice. Many have found their voice through the Girl Scouts, but there's still a tendency for girls to have to first raise their hand before they speak up. Boys don't do that generally. They will just shout out and answer. So again, girls can find that confidence and build that confidence in a program that is designed just for them. I know that for another reason is that parents may feel it's more convenient to drop their children off at the same place. So I just say that's certainly a consideration. But I would ask first that parents, if they're joining, I think there's some misunderstanding. I think some people feel that if they drop their children off at one place, that their daughters are going to get the Girl Scout program and the boys are going to get the Boy Scout program. That is not the case. We are not merging. I've had people say, are you merging? No, we're not merging. We're a very strong organization, and we're going to remain committed to our initial mission of serving girls and building girls of courage, confidence, and character who make our world a better place. And boy, have they made our world a better place.
So you'd say having just girl programs allows more of a safe space for girls to develop.
Yes, and it's not that they still won't do things in Girl Scouts. And over the years, you know, we've done some partnership programs with the Boy Scouts. So it wasn't like there was never that opportunity. But, and I know that in some cases people are saying that even the Boy Scouts, they'll still maintain single gender. Whether or not that will happen or not, I can't speak because I can't speak for them. But I do know that it's not just single gender, though that's a huge part of it. But again, our research and our programs are based on what girls need and want. And there's a very special safe space where you're going to say things to other girls you're not going to say in a co-ed environment. So, you know, so parents, if they just want to think about that, and again, it's a decision that has to be right for a family and for a girl, and I can't presume to know what that should be. I just know what we're all about, and I stand strong that we're the right place for girls.
Very well said.
Thank you.
And so is there anything else you want to add about what's coming up with Girl Scouts? And
Sure. So one other thing I'd like to mention is that you also mentioned how we maintain relevancy, and we have an event every year called our Leading Women to Distinction. This year it's going to be on October 16th at Skyline at 8 o'clock in the morning. And we are going to be honoring 5 women who really emulate what our mission is all about. That's another way that girls can see these women and say, because though it's not required that they have been a Girl Scout, in almost every situation they have been Girl Scouts. So it's really exciting for them to think back to the lessons that they learned when they were a Girl Scout. And it's interesting how people think, oh my gosh, I forgot all about that. You know, the seed of their leadership began then. And seeds of leadership begin when children are young, And that's not that people can't grow into leadership when they're adults, but they have a much easier path forward if they begin those leadership skills when they're young. So I would encourage anybody who's interested, they could go onto our website and look up that event. We are going to be honoring 5 amazing women, and I would invite anybody to join us.
Great. Well, it sounds like a lot of fun and some great role models for our local
Absolutely.
Scouts. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
We
you
really
for
appreciate
having
it,
me.
shining some light on our local scouting
Thank
and
you.
local events. So we look forward to that. And so this is Pam Hyland. She's the CEO of Girl Scouts Southeastern New England. And thanks so much for joining us today. Kate will be back at 4 o'clock with more news and politics. So tune in then. For now, here in the Navigant Credit Union Broadcast Center, I'm your GoLocal Live host, Rachel Nunes.